In the midst of a rainy day, many find themselves grumbling about having to go back to work. The discomfort with our boss can be palpable, and even our loved ones may seem unsympathetic. Complaining becomes second nature, almost like breathing, it's everywhere. A study by social psychologist Will Bowen highlights that when we hear someone else complain, we take notice, but when the complaints come from our own mouths, we often ignore them. Complaining is not just a way of expressing frustration, it signifies that we feel something is amiss in our lives. Yet, rather than alleviating our problems, it only amplifies our stress, echoing negativity back to us. Recognizing this tendency, Will Bowen initiated a global challenge called the 21-Day Complaint-Free Challenge, which has helped over 6 million participants cultivate a more positive mindset. This led to his widely acclaimed book titled A World Without Complaints: How to Stop Complaining and Start Enjoying the Life You Deserve. Through this, he illustrates how habitual complainers often mistake their grievances for a source of redemption, only to find themselves trapped in a cycle of negativity. Complaining stems from anger about our perceived helplessness. It provides a weak mask to hide our fear of change and can paralyze those lacking the courage to confront their shortcomings. A wise saying asserts that those with strength don't blame others, and the wise don't complain about themselves. However, one crucial aspect to bear in mind is that ceasing to complain doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It's about becoming aware of the psychological motives behind our complaints to enact genuine change. When we cease to grumble about ourselves and others, we reclaim our power, and our world no longer holds anything to disturb our peace. As the author expresses, you don't need a perfect world to stop complaining. Your own decision to stop will create a semblance of perfection for you. Let's take a moment to absorb the wisdom shared by a strong soul that never complains, allowing us to reclaim the sweet aroma of our essence, radiating love and inviting happiness into our lives. Those who frequently lament their hardships can hardly advance towards a more fulfilling life. Few people recognize how often they complain, as it becomes a deeply ingrained habit. When one believes they need to vent to attain relief and empathy, they become oblivious to how entrenched they truly are in the cycle. The author recounts a childhood story, emphasizing that although he was teased for being chubby, he mostly shrugged it off until one day at a party he complained to friends about not being able to invite girls because of his weight. Suddenly, everyone rallied to defend him. As he navigated through life, he turned his complaints about his weight into a tool for garnering attention, eventually realizing that each complaint became a means to extract sympathy and reassurance. Even in adulthood, he found himself deflecting blame for missed opportunities onto his size, learning to find comfort in others' affirmations that he was wonderful just as he was. As we often identify ourselves as victims, showcasing our struggles publicly, we may temporarily gain sympathy, but at the cost of denying ourselves the path to personal growth. Rather than addressing issues, we may wallow in disappointment and the injustice we perceive. This negative expression and perception often spiral into a cycle of helplessness that many remain trapped in without even realizing. However, true strength lies in refraining from casting blame or complaining, neither externally towards others nor internally. Interpersonal relationships often suffer in an environment rife with complaints. A discontented spirit fixates on faults, overshadowing the positive traits of others. The constant stream of grievances breeds resentment, fostering insecurity in those on the receiving end. Even in casual encounters, negativity can aggregate, generating a butterfly effect that deteriorates our surroundings. Despite understanding that complaining is harmful, many struggle to break this habit because an underlying addiction exists. Research shows that voicing complaints triggers a release of endorphins, creating a fleeting sensation of comfort and exhilaration. Like an unhealthy craving, complaining provides temporary relief while further entrenching us in distress. Once we recognize this principle, the challenge becomes more about eliminating this detrimental habit than simply changing our behavior. We must learn to love ourselves enough to stop feeding this cycle of pain. Moreover, we can't expect those around us to cease complaining either, as they may be caught in their own struggles. Instead of demanding they change, we should offer understanding and compassion. Dr. Key identifies 5 core reasons behind the behavior of complaining, summarized by the acronym G.R.I.P. Get attention. People often complain to attract attention and empathy, seeking validation for their struggles. Remove responsibility. Complaints serve as a defensive mechanism, shifting blame onto others instead of acknowledging personal shortcomings. Inspire envy. By complaining, individuals often attempt to elevate themselves while subconsciously revealing their insecurities. Power. Complaining can foster a sense of authority or control, especially among those who gather more sympathizers. Excuse poor performance. Some use complaints as a means to justify their failures by deflecting accountability. It's important to distinguish between merely stating a fact and wallowing in complaint. The act of pointing out faults with a clear intention of helping differs from complaining, where negativity permeates the dialogue. Recognizing this distinction allows us to communicate needs without breeding discontent. When we feel the urge to complain, it's crucial to recalibrate. The author suggests that while it may seem comforting to indulge in such negative expressions, this perpetuates a cycle of suffering. We must redirect our focus towards constructing a positive reality. By nurturing uplifting thoughts and unearthing solutions, while limiting complaints, we can transform our experiences. One practical method is to avoid toxic environments. Whenever someone around you begins to complain, be conscious of the tendency for these negative expressions to escalate. Engage only as an observer, discerning while remaining detached from emotional currents, and redirect conversations towards actionable solutions. Activating this shift can turn stagnant dialogues into opportunities for creativity. Moreover, routine mindfulness exercises, like appreciating the quiet of nature or practicing deep breaths, can assist us in maintaining emotional equilibrium amidst the noise of the world. Ultimately, returning to silence can allow us to recharge and cultivate inner strength, as tranquility often breeds resilience against life's challenges. Finally, we can break the habit of complaining by journaling, expressing gratitude, and engaging in activities that cultivate joy. When faced with difficulties, instead of transferring burdens onto others, we might focus on self-improvement or structure a daily homage to positivity. Inspired by the notion of a 21-day complaint-free challenge, many individuals have embarked on a journey to transform their lives. Wearing a simple purple wristband serves as a reminder. Should you catch yourself complaining, you switch the band to the other wrist, fostering mindfulness and accountability. With successful completion of 21 days, a transformation often occurs. Synchronized with Will Bowen's philosophy, when one silences complaints and fosters an atmosphere enriched with positivity, the world yields unimaginable outcomes. We can usher in a simpler, more harmonious existence full of peace and purpose. If you're ready, accept the challenge of a complaint-free life. Each deep breath can replace grievances, and each smile can eclipse sighs. After a mere 3 weeks, you're likely to meet a refreshed version of yourself, capable of inspiring change in both your life and the lives of those around you. Thank you for listening, and if you found this helpful, please share it with others. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications for the latest videos. Once again, thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you in future videos.